during the week about, yeah, you show your winners. Well, here you go, folks. Right up front, I got nothing to hide. I show my losers. I show everything. In fact, I'm more apt to show you what I'm going to do on a losing trade than you do on a win. I mean, because what do you do on a winning trade? You won. So what is there to do? There's usually nothing to do on a winning trade, right? It's the losers that you have to manage, right? You're either going to cut and run or you got to manage it. So Snapchat, I did what I had said I was going to do in Snapchat. And here it is right here. I bought 500 shares, but I sold seven calls against it. I sold the 11 calls, right? Did the exact trade I said I was going to do. This brought my cost basis down to $8.90. Now, Snapchat's trading at $7.80. Now, I got a huge amount of damage control. Now, I'm not down 1,500. I'm down like, what is it, 945. So I'm down a good $800 on this trade right now. So what I'm most likely going to do first thing in the morning here, as soon as the option market opens, these 11 calls are going to be pretty worthless. So I'm probably going to roll these all the way down to the eights. And why I'm going to roll them down to the eights is because that will actually reduce my cost basis even further. It'll probably get my cost basis. I'm assuming that those eights are going to be well over $1. That will bring my cost basis actually under the current price. And I'll want this to get called away. And then at that point, I'm done, right? I'm done. Now, if it continues to go down, I'm in trouble, right? I'm not going to deny it. I'm in trouble because I'm going to have to roll those. I may have to roll those again. I hope I don't have to. I'm not really looking to roll them again, but I'll throw Snapchat up here. But I think it's important because more times than others, it's usually losers that actually you have to manage. It's not winners. And so given where this is now, I believe there was a press statement on here on Thinkorswim on the feed where it said that it was literally at the 28% guidance following weakness, blah, blah, blah. And then also it sucked down, I keep calling it Facebook, but it's always going to be Fakebook to me. It's never going to be Meta. It's also pulling down Meta, Pins, and to a lesser extent, it was also pulling Google down. And then as a whole, it was also pulling the Qs, the NASDAQ. Overnight was having a real rough go of it. And you can see we're down now about 69. It's not as bad. It was over 100 earlier. So we have bounced a little bit. But there, this Snap earnings really has kind of broken the market a little bit here. I mean, it was looking like maybe we're getting a little bullish sentiment going. I mean, the rallies did look pretty good. I mean, it kind of felt like maybe the market was getting its mojo back. Not now. Now after Snapchat, pretty interesting though. There. So that's it. So I'm gonna roll those down. Now I did it on Tasty. I did it on TD Ameritrade because the margins were actually even better than Tastyworks, and so that's why I didn't do it on Tastyworks. But we'll just put them up here real quick and just look at the options in Snap. I'm probably going to not only just roll out of November, I'm probably going to roll into December too, because I only have about 8 days on these until I probably roll again. And I would rather go out to December because I'm probably going to get paid pretty nicely for these. If I sell like an 8 call, I'm assuming these will probably be about a buck, maybe a $1.50, a $1.60. There you have it. And so that's kind of what I'm going to look to do. So I'll roll that 11 November call out into December, bring in some more premium. Again, reducing my cost basis. And, because I originally, I had a few people that were like, yeah, you're going to get buried on that. And it's like, no, not really. I kind of, that's why I sold upside calls, because I didn't know what was going to happen. And thank God I did, because if I didn't sell those calls, I'd actually been really back on my heels, where now I would have to go in and sell some calls. And I was able to capture the premium beforehand. So again, not being greedy, thinking I knew what was going to happen, I kind of saved myself a little bit. So anyway, that's what's going on with Snapchat. I noticed a number of earnings coming out. American Express also taking a hit. I sidestepped that one. I had mentioned that that's not particularly in my wheelhouse, really, for a trade that normally is a pretty much of a piece of crap. We'll put American Express up here. It has actually held up pretty well, relative to most of the financials. And it's down a bit today. But if you did an earnings trade, it's in the expected move. I think it was a $10, wasn't it? $10 expected move. Let's just put that up real quick. AXP. It was in November, it was a $13 close, $13 move. So if you actually had done the at the money or the closest at the money strangle and or iron condor, you'd be sitting pretty today, because they're probably going to get a bit of a collapse. You'll get a little bit of an IV collapse, maybe not much. The market's off a little bit, but you would have come in and did what it needed to do or what was expected. Actually, it's down almost $10. Wow, I just saw that 142. So it's down almost $10. So pretty interesting there. I didn't really look at the earnings and see what they were, because personally, I really don't usually care. It's not whether they were good, bad, or indifferent. They beat expectations. Whether or not the market decides whether or not it's good, bad, or indifferent. And that's what's kind of amazing. But then that was it. And then Verizon's down 1%. That one we were actually looking to do a put ratio. We did the put ratio in here. And given where this is, even though it is down, it's still within our expected move. We did the 36-35 ratio. We used $500. We're probably going to take a little heat today, on this, but it's still bidding at 36.81, even though it sounds like, oh, it's down, whoa, but it's not down that bad. It's holding up over $35. Because if you remember, if we put this one on the curve on Verizon here, if you do put it on the curve and you do the analysis, you'll see the wheelhouse for this trade literally is at $35. That is where we make our max profit. Zero upside risk in this trade. Downside all the way to 33 and change, 33.71. So, where are you going to get in a trade where you're delta positive? You're basically flat dead wrong, let's face it, and you still have a chance to make money in this trade. So anyway, that one's still kind of going to have to incubate a bit. So probably going to hang on to that one going forward here, because it will appear on our table that will be down, right? Because I'm sure the premiums in these puts have actually gone up a little bit since it's actually sold. It's not really down. It's only down like 20 cents. So it's really not that horrible. Outside of that, that's it. I think that would pretty much wrap the week up. I see Bitcoin's down below 19K. Who gives a crap? I think if you're in piling into Bitcoin right now, I think you are a knucklehead. I think if you're piling into anything in general, I think you're a knucklehead. So let's take a look at the overall markets here today. Again, I don't think, it's Friday. I'm usually not very active when it comes to trading on Fridays, because usually they tend to be very wicked. We'll get a day where it's just kind of things are flat. We'll also have an options expiry today, right? The October options do expire today. So you have that. That may add a lot of volatility. And that's about it. That's all I got. There's really nothing else. And then we could look toward next week earnings. I'm not sure what's coming out. Let me just take a look real quick for next week's earnings. I'm not sure what's all coming out. um, next week. But there's some big ones though. I know that I mean, there's some big companies. I think I like the Microsofts, Googles. It looks like Halliburton we have on the 25th. That's probably not bad. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at that at Sunday night. I didn't do Schlumberger, General Electric, and then nothing. General Motors, never really good. 3M, that might not be a bad one on the 25th next week. JetBlue, that's probably not going to be bad. Let me get my pen tool real quick. Just go over these. Wah, 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 wah. And then we'll wrap it up. All right, so looks like I mean this isn't really going to be this is on the 25th. This is General Motors. Coca-Cola, that's never really a very good one to trade. Halliburton might not be bad. We'll have to take a look at that. Halliburton, IV rank is 64. That's pretty good. This is normally a pretty liquid stock. Definitely have to take a look at that one. So probably mark that one off. Halliburton and 3M, another one, pretty good IV rank. So probably take a look at that one. JetBlue, the airlines are always fun because JetBlue is going to be nice because it's cheap. UPS is kind of a mixed bag. Not very liquid. You can see not the most liquid of underlyings. But UPS does tend to move on earnings. Cliffs Natural, that one should be okay next week. So we got Cliffs Natural, Microsoft next week as well, Googs. Texas Instruments, that one's not really a very good one to do. For Visa, that one's actually not bad. That's usually a pretty decent player, right? Goog and Google. Mattel, probably going to pass on that. Twitter's dead. Boeing may be interesting. Here for an earnings play next week. We got Kraft Heinz. I don't know if that one's really going to be. That's normally not really that great of a play. Bristol Myers. That usually is not bad. I mean, plus the IV rank is okay. It's not great. And then we got Facebook, Meta, whatever. Teladoc. That one actually looks probably the most interesting of all is Teladoc. That thing has just gotten absolutely just murdered. It's actually just a bit of bloodbath in that stock. And so anyway, so quite a few nice earnings releases. Southwest Airlines I see on the list. That's normally a pretty good one. Caterpillar, that's usually not bad. Western Digital, that one could be a mover. That normally moves on earnings. So next week, pretty action-packed week and some pretty nice underlyings to do some earnings trades. Apple as well, U.S. Steel. I see Starbucks as well, Amazon. So some pretty good ones for next week. I see lined up for next week and some earnings plays. So we'll leave it at that. Markets right now just look like a gap. And that's, again, I'm not going to be doing much today, Friday. Going to be sitting on my hands. Going to be managing my Snapchat trade. And that's about it. All right, so have a good weekend. I'm going to try and do one of these on Sunday, maybe like a review. I'm going to try. I don't know. Sundays, sometimes I'm sitting around and I'm either watching football or watching hockey or something, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to do this crap. So maybe I'll come back, but I'll definitely be here Monday morning. So have a good weekend. Pretty action-packed week next week. Some big earnings releasing next week, and so that should have a pretty strong impact on the markets. So have a good one, and I hope to see you back. And don't forget, Rumble. Please go over and follow me on Rumble because I'd like to get off of ScrewTube. And once I get 100 people follow me over there. I'm actually going to go exclusively over there and not broadcast on Twitter and ScrewTube anymore. So there you have it. So have a good one, and hopefully